Hi there! For this video I'm going to be showing you how you can make your own rope out of plastic bags. For this we're going to be doing weaving, or also what's very much like braiding. But a reason you would do this would be one, just because you can practice weaving, or if you need a rope. Also, you might need this if you're going to do other weaving and you don't have any string or rope handy, but you have plastic bags. You could use plastic bags to make them. So here's how we're going to start that. You're going to need a few things. You're going to need a plastic grocery bag that you got from a store, and preferably a pair of scissors. If you don't have scissors, that's okay. You can tear it, but scissors just make this part a lot easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of the handles and I'm going to cut that handle at the base of the bag. And this is going to be the start of my bag, my piece of rope. And what I'm going to do is cut across to my next handle, and I'm going to cut through that handle as well. And now I'm going to start cutting through my bag. And it's okay if it doesn't stay the same length or the same width really, because the width isn't really going to be noticeable, or not all that noticeable, once we do our braiding and weaving. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of holding the bag back here with this hand, so this piece and this piece together, and I'm kind of pulling that. So you'll notice I'm not really going up and down with this, because my scissors are really, I'm just using the sharpness of my scissors to do it. You might have to squeeze it to get started, but then you can kind of use the scissors and just kind of pull them through and not really cut so much. At least not cut in the traditional sense. But I'm going to keep going around until I get all the way through my bag. Almost cut through it all the way there. And if you do, that's okay. I'll show you how you can tie these together in case that does happen. So don't worry if you do. Alright. And you'll need to do this with 3 bags. I would suggest using 3 different colored bags if you have them. And they don't have to be just grocery store bags. I've used like bags that bread comes in as well, and you can do them the same way. But then get 3 pieces. So I have a blue, a gray, and a white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie those together on this end. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hold them together, and I'm going to cross one end over the rest of it to make a loop, and then the end is going to go through that loop and pull tight, and that's making an overhand knot, and that's going to hold the end of my rope together. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all 3 of these pieces. See, mine already came apart. If you have that happen, it was too thin in a spot. I'm going to cross it over, under and up, cross over and through. So I'm making a knot there to hold that together. And then I'm just going to cut off the extra. So, a happy accident. I got to show you how to join them together in case that happens to you. So now I'm going to pull these out to no more than arm's length to see where I want the length of my rope to be, but I wouldn't go farther than arm's length, and then cut them all to make sure they're all the same length. But those we're going to leave loose. Then to get started, I'm going to tie this onto something. I'm going to use this camera stand, so one over the other and through just so that I'm not having to hold it. And then let me show you how to get started. So to get started, I'm going to hold two of these in one hand, so gray and blue in my left and white rope in my right hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pattern of handing them off to one another. So here's what I'm going to do. Blue, white, gray. Blue, white, gray. And what I'm trying to do as I'm doing that, I'm trying to pull them kind of pull them out so it doesn't get them tight. Alright, so blue, white, gray. And each time I'm handing them off to each other. So blue, white, gray. Pulling them all the way through. Blue, white, gray. So I think I didn't finish that one. Okay. Yeah. So the reason I'm saying it is because that helps me remind myself of the pattern. So blue, white, gray. And as I'm doing that, it's starting to bring it out. So each time I'm handing it off from one hand to the other. So blue over, white over, gray over, blue over, white over, gray over. And each time I'm doing that, I'm trying to pull it all the way out. Because otherwise what happens, and I've found this out before, is that it gets tangled. And then it gets really frustrating to deal with. So you're going to keep doing that till you get all the way to the end. And then once you get all the way to the end, you'll do that same overhand knot. So bringing them across to make a loop and then through to finish it up. And then you'll end up with a piece of rope that you can use for your weaving.